Thank you very much for your time today.
Of course.
And I remember you once said in an interview, I quote, "We both need the stories, and we both tell stories differently. It's a good starting point for our friendship." So would you like to say hello to your Korean readers and fans before we begin?
Yes, thank you for inviting me. I'm very happy to meet you, even if only virtually. And to talk about stories, which I think it's a good international topic, because I think the need for stories is universal. And basically, I think that when two people see the same reality, basically builds a different story around those details that they see. So I think that when we hear somebody else's story, it's basically like entering another person's mind. I think that many times when people tell me what they want or what they need or what they fear, I doubt them. But when they tell me a story, I always know what they doubt and what they fear.
In 2022, in the New Yorker interview, you once said that, I quote, "I think that literal characters who hold views open to our own, but still evoke empathy in us are a great gift." End of quote. And you took an example of Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, and by reading, how Huck showed his kindness and generosity against the racism and discrimination, you can evoke empathy in us. So this is what we can call it as the power of literature, the power of literary reading. So have you yourself ever experienced any empathetic awakening or personal moral transformation in your life by reading literature?
I like to read things written. For example, I'm not a very materialistic person, but I like to read what Elon Musk or Mark Zuckerberg have to say. Just not because we share the same values. If I have some kind of an intimacy with somebody who doesn't think like me, I can still oppose that person, but not see in him pure evil. For example, Israel is in constant war with its neighboring countries. I was interested in reading Palestinian and Arabic writers and poets, because I knew how they look through the sights of a rifle. And I thought to myself, if one day I may need to fight for death against those people, I should know who they are, what they think, and what are their claims. As a child of Holocaust survivors, then of course there was no notion of a more pure evil than the Nazis. And when I read the writes about the bombing of a German city during the Second World War, was experienced as a tragedy. Even in the most clearest places in life, things are still ambiguous and complicated. That this yearning we have for this simplicity of existence, of binary decisions that are exclusively right or wrong, does not exist.
And reading books, especially for children and teenagers, is becoming significantly difficult. YouTube and TikTok dominated their time and culture, but still, one can ask, why is reading more important than YouTube Shorts? What would be the best way to explain the importance of reading instead of watching a video clip? And how can reading literature can actually change one's life?
Yes, first of all, I love watching movies. On YouTube or TikTok, or it doesn't matter where. So But I think that, that reading a book and watching a movie is a different thing. It's like somebody gives you a script and you direct a film in your head out of it. Each of them will imagine them and the story with their own special tone. Is that when I read a book, the stories that I read, it's not only the writers, it's a collaboration between me and the writer, with me imagining all the gaps that the writer had left. I feel that in a sense, I almost created part of it. That I think it's like the book and the movies are two friends, but the book is a friend that when you always cook dinners for, you always make meals for him, you make him little present and you give it to him. And the other friend is just as good a friend, but you don't do much for him. So I think many times when we do something for someone, we feel closer to them.
Probably the last question from me. So this is the title that you suggested in Lost in a Story, the importance of the tales in our lives. And when I have this email from you, then I kind of wonder what this, like beautifully written, literary, title means. I myself, can imagine what you wanted to bring out with this title, but can you tell us a little bit, more about like why you picked this title and why it is important?
I think that in real life, we can never allow ourselves to be 100% relaxed or 100% sincere. Is he lying? Is he telling the truth? So we can never totally commit to the reality around us. But when we read a story, we can listen without looking around our back, because we know that nobody will come to attack us because we are in a storyland. So a story is like an experiment. We take our mind and put it in a safe place. So this is why I think it's good to be lost in a story. You don't want to be lost when you go in the mountains because you'll die. But to be lost in a story is a very good and positive thing.
Wow. And are there any books that you would like to recommend besides your books?
No, of course.
To Korean audience or the audience today?
Maybe my biggest literary hero is Kafka. I think that reading Kafka had made me want to write. I especially recommend for the students to read his short fiction, because it's really, really, some of those stories are in the length of a Facebook post, They are not very, very long, and they always leave you with many thoughts. And totally on the other side, if you want something that is more fun and less philosophical, I really think I would recommend the short stories of O. Henry. Simply very good tales, very good plots with very good things, and they are not too demanding. It's not as if like you can read them when you're tired and they will bring a smile to your face. Thank you all. Bye-bye.